welcome to LearnDrawDesign. Today we are going to learn how to create and manipulate some basic shapes in Adobe Illustrator. But first of all, we need to open a new file. So I have my Adobe Illustrator open here. There are two ways to open a new file. Either you can click this New File button, the blue button on the top left of the screen. Click it, and it will open the file options that you have. You can use this method, or you can go to File and New, the top button, click it, and it will open up the same window. Now, today we're going to use a print size and just a basic letter or A4, and I'm going to stick with the basic settings here and click Create. Now it has opened up the new file. So first of all, I'll go to Windows tab here and Workspace and Essentials, and I'll just press Reset Essentials to reset everything and have my tools ready in place. Now, as we're working today, you might notice that the Properties panel here will change according to what tool you're using or what option you're in. We're going to start with a basic shape. You come here to the left, the toolbar here, and just a little bit, the fifth down here, you long hold it, and it opens up this little tab. So we pick the rectangle tool for now. It has a shortcut M, and I'll just click and drag it out, making a rectangle. Now, one important thing to notice is that if you want to make it a proportionate rectangle, which means a square, you can hold down the Shift key and then drag it out, and it will make a perfect square. And the same goes if you're trying to make other shapes as well. It is white from the inside. If you look on the right side here, there's a fill and a stroke. If you click on this fill box, you can change the color of the rectangle from the inside. So you can pick a red, a blue. There are many solid colors available here by default. There are some gradients as well. And then there's also some patterns. So for now, we'll just pick a plain blue color for the fill. Next, we go on to the stroke. Now, if you zoom in, Control plus, and you pick this, select it, and then you Control plus. Here you can see that the stroke is black, which is also shown here. Control 0 to make it fit on screen. I can change the stroke color as well by clicking on the stroke color right here, and the same color swatch tab opens up. Let's say I want to make it green. I pick green, but you don't see much of a change of color, or at least it's not that clear. Well, you can zoom in. Now I'll use the zoom tool here, and I'll zoom in, and there you can see that the stroke color has also changed. You can also change the stroke weight. Now right now you see that nothing is selected here, and that is why I can't see the fill, stroke, and stroke weight options here. But once I pick this, the Properties panel changes to reflect what I might need to do. So here I keep the fill and stroke the same, and I can increase the stroke weight, and you can see it changing here. Let's make it a little bit brighter with this so you can see more clearly. And there, you can keep increasing it or decreasing it. For now, I'll keep it at a good 2, and then I'll Control 0 to make it fit on screen again. You will notice that if you hover over any tool in the toolbar, you can see what it does, its name and its shortcut. So for example here, this is the Selection tool or the black arrow tool. Its shortcut on the keyboard is V, and it is used to select entire objects. Here, I'm just hovering over, I'm not clicking it. This is called the Direct Selection tool with the shortcut A on the keyboard, and it's used to select and adjust anchor points and segments to reshape paths. Right now, I have the Selection tool picked here, which is the topmost of the toolbar. I also have another tool here that's called the Direct Selection tool. For now, let's pick the Selection tool, click on our object, and you can see that if I drag it while clicking down with my mouse, I can move it around. I can hold down this corner and drag it outward or inward to reshape it or to change its shape. Also, if you come close to it, but not quite on the corner, close to it, there will be a curved arrow that appears, and you can use this to rotate your shape at whatever angle you need. Now let's say I want to undo these actions, the last few actions that I did on my shape. There are two ways to do it. Either you can press Ctrl Z on the keyboard until you get back to where you were, or let's say here, you can go to Edit, Undo Rotate, and Edit, Undo Rotate again to go back to the place where you were. When I select this object, you will see that there are these widgets here, these little dots at the corners, and if I hover over them, there's an arc that appears. I can use these dots to curve off the edges here. I can curve off more, but there comes a limit after which you can't curve it off anymore. Here I'm trying, but nothing's happening. It also turns red to show that this is a max capacity. I'll turn them back here. Let's select the object again and go to the Fill button here on the right in the Properties panel. This button on the left, which says None, it means that now the box has no fill. It doesn't have a white fill, but it has actually no color in it. So if you move it off the artboard, you will see that it's completely transparent. It has nothing inside. The same is true for stroke. If you have a stroke also with none as the stroke color, it means there is no stroke color. So if you're not selecting an object, you can't see it because the stroke has no color, the fill has no color. But if you just drag out your mouse, you will see that there is the shape. You can drag it here, and as long as it's selected, it will show. But as soon as you deselect it, you can't see anything anymore. So we'll go back to giving it some fill and some stroke color. Make it a little visible. Let's say you have some shape tucked under another shape. Let's say like this. So at least for now, you can't see the shape that's at the back, which is this. But sometimes while making your art, you might want to see everything that's on the artboard. For this, you will just simply go to View and Outline. In outline mode, you can see all that is on the artboard. You can again go to View, Preview on CPU to bring it back to the normal view mode. So if you want to delete any object from your artboard, you just can select it and press Delete, or you can again select it and press the backspace button. That will delete the object. Here, I've deleted both my objects. Now, what is the purpose and function of the direct selection tool? Let's see. Let's make some more shapes here. Let's give it some other color just for a change. Too bright. That's better. And now we go and select the direct selection tool. So here, the purpose of the direct selection tool is to be able to manipulate individual points or corners on your shape. So I can use the direct selection tool to pick a certain corner of my shape. And you see how the dot has now appeared only on this edge, not on the others. This means that now I can change just this edge and round only this one off as much as I want to up to a certain extent. Beyond this, because the line is blinking, is going red, I can't do it anymore. Here, if I pick this, you just click and drag over it. I don't want to change the roundness anymore. So I just pick this and I can move it here and there. And you can see that only this point is changing and the shape is changing because of the change in the point. But the other points are not changing. Whereas if I drew a shape and used the direct selection tool, whenever I picked it, if I tried to pick one corner, it would pick the whole object. And I wasn't able to manipulate individual corners. If I did something, it would happen to the whole object. Now let's look at the next shape. Select both of these, press Delete. Let's go over to the Shape tool again, long press, and pick the Ellipse tool. Now again, click and drag out to make an ellipse, or click and drag out while holding down the shift key to make a proportionate ellipse, which is a circle. Again, if I have the selection tool picked, I can go anywhere in the shape, click it and drag it to move it around. But what happens if I pick the direct selection tool? I can go to drag, I can drag along each point, and here you will see some handles appear. And when I drag the handles, I can manipulate the shape. Oops. Here. You can see here that while I'm changing the one handle, the other half of the side is also being changed to adjust. But these handles, these points are not changing. They stay the same. If I change this side, again you can see that the one on the right and left and the bottom, they're staying where they are. They are not changing. You can go ahead and make some different shapes like this, play around. Now we go to the next tool, which is the polygon tool. Again, click and drag out, or click and drag out while holding down the shift key to make a perfect shape. Now here, you can change, you will see this little diamond shape here, which when you hover over it, it says plus and minus. If you press this and drag down, that will increase the number of edges your shape has. Take it here, click it, and press down to increase the number of corners in your shape. Do the opposite as well, to drag up and make the corners less. The least number of corners this can make is 3. Another way to make a hexagon or any polygon is to press the button, drag it out, but as you're dragging it out, if you press the up key on your keyboard, it will increase the number of corners in your shape. If you press the down key, I haven't released the mouse yet, I'm just clicking and dragging and pressing the up and down keys. And that is changing the number of corners in my shape. This is the star tool. Again, click and drag, hold shift if you want to make it perfect. Let's bring it here. Again, with the selection tool, if I go here, I can round off all corners. This is the max it will go to. What does this button do? If I click and drag it down, it increases the number of points. If I click and drag it up, it decreases the number of points. Now let's make another star. And I'll pick the direct selection tool. And before that, I would like to make it an even number of points. So let's say 6. Now I go to the direct selection tool and I just pick this. While holding the shift key down, I press this. And while still holding it down, I press this. This means now that whatever I do will affect only these 3 corners. So here I come here and I drag it out. And you can see that is the purpose of the direct selection tool. It's a pretty weird shape, but it shows you the power of the direct selection tool, which is to be able to manipulate individual points rather than the whole shape. And that is a review of your basic shapes and the direct selection tool and selection tool in Adobe Illustrator.